Welcome back to the Friday and Saturday edition of a Sports Beat, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Service Electric Cable TV's Channel 10, and maybe you're watching the show on mugsmedia.com, our very popular website. Dan Cleary writes a blog on the website, mugsmedia.com, and of course, Service Electric Cable TV's Channel 10. We're talking about Mike Weilamann. He's giving his Mike Dream team right now up to weight class 145. What do you got, Mike?
145, state runner up this year, Troy Hernandez with Kittatinny lost that heartbreaker in the state finals in overtime. Three-time state medal winner. Was 38-1 this year. His only loss was in that state final. Another kid with a solid career, 145 wins at Kittatinny. John Gill will certainly miss him next year. Was a great leader for Kittatinny in the room this year. 152, we're going outside the SCIO. We got junior Kevin Brown of North Warren. Another solid year for Kevin, 35-6 this year. District champion, region champion, captured his second state medal this year, was sixth in the state at 152. He's North Warren's only two-time state medal winner. And who knows, next year for Kevin, you might see him in a state final next year. He's definitely has that talent, and we'll keep an eye on him for next year. 160, I went with the district champion, senior Christian Casa of Wallkill Valley. Was 23-7 this year. He came on late in the year, did a great job in the district tournament. Didn't work out for him up at the region tournament, but he had a solid year for Wallkill Valley. Was a kid that could count on week in and week out in big matches. His teammate at 171, junior Ryan Callahan, second in the state this year. Great year for Ryan. Was 39-3. Region champion, his second region championship for Ryan. He's a kid next year, Jared, I think we're going to be talking about when we talk about going to Atlantic City, kids that can contend for state titles. He's going to be definitely in the mix down there next year. Works out at Sir Wrestling with the former Belvedere state runner-up Tyler Smith. I saw Tyler down in Atlantic City and said he works out with Ryan a lot. So
we'll have a story on Sir Wrestling coming up later on in the program. A
lot of kids are doing some good things at Sir. 189, the surprise district champion Russell Jones of Pope John. He had a great run in the postseason, won that district title, finished second in the region tournament. Got down to Atlantic City, actually got to the quarterfinals. Was 34-5 this year. Great senior year for Russell, and hopefully things are on the rise at Pope John with Bill Koch as their head coach. 215, we're going Vinny Campanile from Lenape Valley, senior, 39-9. Had a great run in AC, 4 pins to the Wrestlebacks to place fourth. Avenged his losses to Matt Santini. He wound up splitting 2-2 with Matt Santini of Phillipsburg this year. So Vinny was obviously a big part of that Lenape Valley success this year. And at 285, senior Eddie Mattice, 38-5, second district and region titles for Eddie this year. Was a roundaway in Atlantic City, just misplacing down there, but he had a great career at Newton as well.
Nobody knows wrestling better than you. You are the
well, I don't know about that.
This guy's going to write a book about wrestling. Let me ask you this question. Blair Academy, #1 wrestling team in the country.
Right.
Let's say you take all the New Jersey state champions and you wrestle Blair in a dual meet. Who'd win that meet?
Well, that was a question somebody posed the other day on the wrestling forum. I tell you what, this Blair team is absolutely loaded. It's probably one of their most balanced teams that I've seen. I got to give the edge to the Jersey State champs, but I think it would be a match. It certainly wouldn't be out of the question that Blair could press the action there. I mean, as amazing as that seems, but they're that type of talent. We all know that.
I got to hand it to the NJSIA, a kinder, gentler New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association. We go down there, we get treated very well.
Yeah.
It's actually comfortable there in the Atlantic City. The only thing is a long drive, but it's pretty good viewing for all the fans. I mean, no matter where you sit in that arena, you can pretty much see the mat dead on and not be blocked by any view. What do you think?
Yeah, they have great sight lines in that arena. I wasn't too keen. I still am not on having it there, but they renovated Boardwalk Hall. It's certainly a much nicer facility than the old Boardwalk Hall was. It was a little run down back then, but like you said, it's great for the fans. I think they feel like they're right on top of the action there, and there really isn't too many bad seats there.
Looking ahead to next year, is High Point going to continue to be a power?
Absolutely. I mean, High Point we saw this year, as good as they were, they're losing 4 quality seniors, including Tyler Forbeck. But they're so young. I mean, talk about freshmen and sophomores for High Point. John Guzzo was a kid that didn't even compete at the end of the year. He was injured. He's a kid coming back. He was only a sophomore. I mean, they're going to fill in nicely. And they had kids, waiting in the wings like Justin Bellis was behind Nick Francavilla at 103. There's a kid that would have at least gone to the regions this year. And I think he'll be a solid 103 for them next year, so he'll kind of replace Nick in that role. And guys will shift in weight classes, and if everybody can kind of fall into their right weight classes, they're going to be a very dangerous team next year.
Now, I have it on good authority, take it for what it's worth, but I hear Guzzo's coming back to High Point.
I hope so. John said that after the Long Branch match, he said he really enjoyed being part of that team. It was a great team atmosphere. That's the one thing at Blair you probably don't really get is, because they're pretty much individuals.
Right,
there.
and you don't wrestle at home.
Right.
You're on the road every weekend, the Ironman.
Right.
You're all over the country. You're not just in the state.
And they don't have like those tight community rivalries like High Point has with Kittatinny.
Yeah.
I mean, like they wrestle St. Ed's. That's like their big dual meet every year. But
St.
they're
Ed's
mostly
in Ohio. Yeah.
Right. They're mostly a tournament team.
Right.
So it does feel a little bit almost like a college atmosphere with Blair Academy, whereas the high school's much closer knit family and the teams are close together. So I think that's one thing that John really enjoyed at High Point, and hopefully we'll see him again next year because I think a healthy John Guzzo can definitely make an impact down Atlantic City.
What about the fact that Scott Goodale is now the coach at Rutgers? Does that give him an in with the New Jersey wrestlers?
Absolutely. I think we saw it this year with a number of Jersey kids that qualified for the Nationals this year. Rutgers is taking 4 to St. Louis this weekend to compete.
And Zabriski's wrestling, right, this weekend?
Dave Zabriskie, I want to mention, he's one of a couple SCL wrestlers to keep an eye on this weekend. He won a Big 12 title this year at heavyweight. He's one of the favorites at heavyweight. He's already beaten the #1 kid this year from Missouri. Dave, I think, is going into this tournament probably going to be the top seed. And, Dan Weilamann from Jefferson's at Penn State.
Remember him, of course.
Dave, we mentioned. There's a few SCL wrestlers that are escaping my mind right now, but they're going to be competing this weekend, and hopefully we can see Sussex County represent on a national level this weekend.
How come you're not in St. Louis there?
I'd like to be. I did go there a couple of years ago to cover the tournaments. That's talk about a great town and facility to have wrestling. St. Louis does it right. A lot of people enjoy going there. And it's either next year or the year after. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be in Philadelphia.
Oh.
So hopefully we'll have a number of Sussex County kids in Philadelphia, and I will definitely be there for that.
We can cover that too. Now, is college wrestling popular?
Absolutely is. I think it's on the rise. Hopefully, a number of the Division I programs will be able to keep their programs.
Title IX, they've got
Title IX has really done damage with the wrestling, but I just remembered Zach Ray from PACON Lehigh is competing in the national tournament this weekend too. So hopefully that the wrestling will remain solid on the Division I level. Jersey's feeding the NCAA level a number of quality kids. So hopefully, like you said, with Goodale at Rutgers, keeping those kids at home, building a tradition there, we'll see more and more kids from the area on a national stage.
Great job, man.
Thanks.
Thanks for the wrestling. By the way, you do a good job on TV. I really enjoyed your broadcast with Nick DeGennaro.
All right.
And then you and Bill Rawson, your old buddy there from the local paper.
That's right.
Is that paper still around, by the way?
There's rumors.
I think it shrunk. I think it's about this. But anyway, no, it's a good paper. Those guys do a nice job. I like Adam Regan and those guys. And I'm
good
Jim
guys.
Dent. He's a good man.
Yep.
They do a good job. They're solid. They work very hard. They work very. And I really like. All the reporters for the Herald, they're really good, hardworking young men.
Bill and I raised the bar, Jared, I guess, a little bit there.
Well, they're never going to have the team that you guys were there, or you and Ross were there,
yeah,
Cleary
there's
was there.
definitely not a pair like me and Bill around, that's for sure.
Graylert was a sports editor. Then again, we love you, Rick. We know he watches everything.
Rick's a good man.
Yeah, he watches the show constantly.
Yes,
Jared,
he does.
I saw you mention me on the show last night. I got to tell you, that was a pretty good imitation of me. No, we like it,
You're
Graylert.
pretty close.
Yeah. If there's food there, Graylert will be there.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Mike. You did a great job. We appreciate it. You did a great job on TV. I really enjoyed you and Rawson and you and Nick DeGennaro doing that. I hope you have it back next year.
It was a lot of fun.
All right, folks. So you have more to come on the Friday and Saturday. Just have a sports beat. Right now we have for you a commercial. Time out.